Attack Shuttle, or more commonly known as the show, the Havoc Marauder. I'm not 100% sure why it is not called the Havoc Marauder, maybe just because kids might recognize the Bad Batch more than Havoc Marauder, but it is rated 9+. It comes with 969 pieces and retails for $100 in the US. I think LEGO's choice of using sand blue for the main color of the shuttle is slightly controversial, but it also comes with 6 excellent minifigs. I love the new design of box art with 3 members of the Bad Batch at the top, and then the standard kind of white pieces in the background, which they've continued all the way through 2021, which is pretty nice. They're probably going to continue it on through more years to come. They also have this nice deserty background, and of course on the bottom you have all of your minifigures. The back of the box gives you a representation of what you get in the set and showing you all those fun little features, and then some of the minifigures with their helmets off and their hair pieces and stuff like that. Without further delay, let's build her up. The Hunter minifigure comes with 2 nice accessories, which I think is pretty standard, and I wish it came with some sort of gun, but yet it didn't get included. All the printing on his torso, hips, and legs, and even toes is all very nice. Kind of resembles some sort of like commando, which I think is cool. Also, all of his parts except for his hips are molded in gunmetal gray. And believe it or not, I did get a misprint on my first Hunter helmet, as you can see right there, so I was able to get a replacement, which is just very good on LEGO customer service. Finally, there is a backpack printed on the back. I wish they created a mold for his backpack, but you know, this isn't Clone Army Customs. Here is the hairpiece with this first facial expression, which I really love. It has all of the Hunter details you would want. Even with the skull and the bandana, which is just really good attention to detail, but unfortunately, it gets covered up by the hairpiece. And here is the more angry expression. Echo is also a really nice minifigure with his waist comma printed on, which is slightly unfortunate. I wish it was like an actual cloth piece, but you can get that from CIC. He also comes with this very nice arm printing, which is actually the only arm printing in this whole set. And while I really wish they would have created like a new mold for his kind of like drill on his arm, this is a fine substitution. But something I found rather funny was they actually tell you to put his gun into his hand with the drill, which just doesn't make sense at all in any Star Wars universe, so LEGO kind of needs to like fix that up, I would say. His backpack is printed on, and the printing on the helmet is also really, really nice. Here is the face print with these kind of 2 dots at the top, and they use the lighter skin tone for his face, which I just think is incredibly accurate. And then they also have this like little, I'm not sure what this is on the back of his head, but it's very nice attention to detail by LEGO. Wrecker is a really nice fig in my opinion, with this kind of football shoulder pad thing going on here, which I really love. It even kind of connects up with the torso printing there, which is really lovely. There's this highly detailed skull on the side there, which is kind of like the Bad Batch kind of like logo sort of thing, and then there's 2 studs on the back. His gun is kind of a different mold that they haven't really used for Star Wars characters before, but I think it works really well for what Wrecker's gun is. It's supposed to be some sort of representation of a commando blaster. The mold for Wrecker's helmet is actually Iron Man, which I think actually works really well, more than I expected. I expected them to use like the Mandalorian helmet, but this actually works better in my opinion. It has a very nice rounded shape to it, which is exactly what Wrecker's helmet is, and you can obviously kind of see that like screaming look it has on it. His face print is probably my favorite in the set, and I think they really captured his damaged eye and the stubble on his face really well. And this is actually in the 2020, as of all of them are, in the 2020 clone face print. Tech is the most interesting minifigure in my opinion, because he comes with this brand new helmet mold, which I absolutely love. It might be slightly oversized, but I think it works really well. He also has this backpack on the back, which comes with a printed piece, and there's actually 2 of those, so you can make 2 backpacks if you would like. I do find it odd why he comes with Mandalorian blasters, because he never uses Mandalorian blasters, but I think it's fine, because all of them are guns anyway. I love the printing on this minifigure, but I kind of wish they were on white parts instead of this gray, because I think white would look slightly cleaner, but I guess this kind of shows that his armor is like dirty and damaged in parts. Here's his face print with the green goggles, which is most commonly seen in the show, and he also has this kind of receding hairline, sort of brown hairpiece. I think it is slightly big for what Tech's hair is. It's just kind of like too tall, I think, but I think it's kind of the best option for what LEGO has. Here's the back print, which is pretty standard for clones, and then you also get this no goggles, kind of inquisitive face print. Here is Crosshair in his imperial attire. He comes with this sniper rifle gun, which is kind of the long version, which I really love. Here's his back print with the backpack, which is printed on most of the minifigures except for Tech. all of the printing on the front is kind of like armor and sort of stuff like that. I absolutely love the helmet printing, but I do wish that they create a new kind of clone mold so they could put the rangefinder in, because it would be a perfect thing to lead into Commander Cody, but unfortunately we're still stuck with no peg holes in the side of the helmet. Under the helmet you will find the face print, which has the crosshair over his eye. One of the improvements I would make to this figure if I worked for Lego is I would give him this kind of Obi-Wan Kenobi hairpiece. I think this works really well for what Crosshair's hair is in the show when he has it, and this is what the improvement would be if I was in charge of making this minifigure. So lastly we have the gonk droid minifigure, and he's a nice inclusion, but obviously I would have rather had Omega, but there's nothing too special about him, just kind of a brick built sort of figure with some nice little feet and stuff like that. So it's a nice inclusion, just would have rather had Omega, but I honestly didn't expect to have Omega since Lego probably didn't even know about her at the time that they made the set. There's a selection of some really nice minifigures, and I think they all come together really well. And I also love how you have the whole Bad Batch crew, including Echo and Crosshair in his Imperial version. I hope to see Crosshair in his non-Imperial version in the future. But right now this is the only way to get the whole batch, so it's definitely a good set for that reason. The two side builds are Crosshair's Imperial Speeder, which is actually the same exact design from the 501st Battle Pack. Well, it's not the exact same, but very, very close. And there's also this lime green speeder, which is, I believe, only seen in one episode in the show, so kind of like a weird choice by that one. Crosshair speeders in this really nice dark color scheme, which I really love, and there's a lot of fine details here, like some side sort of things on the side here. And I believe if you wanted to, you could use this as kind of like a storage space for Crosshair's gun. There's two of the exact same stickers, one right there and one on the other side. There's also this black and gray sticker on the top there. The handles on the set can actually move apart, which is a nice little feature. And there's this blue little seat there for Crosshair to sit in. Then there's this nice sloping piece here ending in this black sticker at the end. And then there's two stud shooters that you can shoot off just like that. They use these snowshoe pieces on the side here a lot, which I think is a nice little detail, and it looks slightly bare that they don't have some sort of gun at the top there. But if I was choosing how to make this set, I personally would have taken the parts in this build right here and put it into the Bad Batch Shuttle, because this right here doesn't do much for me. If I really wanted this, I could easily take the instructions for the speeder from the 501st Battle Pack and then just put it in this color scheme. And I think that would just work out a lot better. I don't know the exact name of the speeder, so I'm just going to call it the lime green speeder. But there's a lot of really great detail on here, including these two stickers, which are very similar but not the same. I think the design of kind of having this cable running here is really cool. There's also one seat for a minifigure. Ah, that's better. But something really odd with this set is actually these handlebars are just a bit too large for minifigures. So I'm not 100% sure why they didn't size this down so minifigures can actually grip it. But there's these also two engines on the side, I assume, which are nice little detail, and you can hinge those around if you want. There's even this clip on the back where you can clip one gun if you would like, so that's just some nice storage. And here it is, the Bad Batch Shuttle. Oh my gosh, guys, this thing looks amazing. There are certain aspects, I think, of this thing that are slightly not as enjoyable, like you see all these anti-studs on the side there. Then also, if you flip it around again, you can see some more anti-studs right there. So I kind of wish for this middle section that they kind of use maybe two places and just kind of put them back to back. I think that could have been a really good solution. The front of the set comes to a really beautiful point, and I really love how they achieve that. They've also mixed in some dark bluish gray here and there. This piece right here is actually one just big printed piece, and I really love how they didn't give us stickers to put on there, because that would have been an incredible hassle to do. And those red windows there just look really good. There are some yellow lights on the side, which are just pretty small. Then there's these two big guns right here. Moving up, you can see some nice tiling and sloping around where the big center wing is, which I think comes together really nicely. And then you actually can pull up this wing like that, but we'll get to the interior later in this video. Just at the top of every wing too, they have one yellow light. I kind of wish they put an extra stud there just so you kind of have a light on either side. And also, I would recommend, if you are displaying the set, point it this way so you can see just the studs and not the anti-studs, because the anti-studs are rather unattractive. The main feature of the set is clearly you can pick it up and put the wings down. It's kind of a bit uncomfortable to do this, and it's actually hard to get in frame, but there you go. This is essentially what you have to do to get this thing into the correct position. You can see how this all kind of lines up, and I think that looks really good. You can also put this at some other angles if you wish. You can even put it into like an airplane mode there, but I just prefer the regular. You can even make it fly like a bird. Woohoo! So I would like to point out, when you are switching this thing around, do not pick it up from the center, because as you can easily see, it just pulls right on up. So that is going to be a major issue if kids are buying the set and they're like, let's pick this thing up, and they go there, boom, everything's slamming down, and it will not be pretty. Pick it up by the sides or the bottom. But actually don't pick it up from the bottom, because actually there are spring-loaded shooters under there, and you can easily set them off just like I did right there. So in general, the set is actually a bit hard to kind of like maneuver around. So I would recommend, if you're buying this for display, just put it in display in that mode and then just leave it there. But getting to that, another major issue on the set is actually when you're trying to display this thing, it can't just stand up on its wings, and in landed mode it doesn't look that great. So I would recommend, if you are getting this thing for display, make sure to get a display stand with it. So I believe you can get display stands from like Wicked Bricks, and you can actually make your own if you'd want. So that's probably what I'm going to do, and probably buy one of those so I can have it in like flight mode, which I think looks really good, but in this mode right here, not so much. And really quick, I would like to point out, they kind of have these sand blue tires right here, which works really well for kind of like circling this off. And then they have these like light bluish gray like circles on the side here. So I don't know why they just didn't leave it all black, but I guess this is fine. On the back of the set, they have this red transparent light, which looks pretty good. Then there's actually these guns little down here, which are like turrets. I don't know if you can actually see that. But thankfully, the only exterior stickers are right here, which you can see. There's actually 4 of them, and they're on these just little hinge pieces, and you can actually clamp those down to cover up the thrust if you would like. So it's actually in landed mode. I think that's a really cool feature, and I actually might do that if I'm landing this thing, but other than that, I would just leave the thrust out. Alright, so let's move on to the interior, and the way to access it is just pulling this up. It's really quite simple. In the first kind of section of the interior, they actually have 2 seats, so I think you're supposed to put like maybe Hunter in this one and Tech in that one if you were like, but you actually have to take off Tech's like backpack if you want to put him in there. So just for example, you take a minifigure and plop them right in there, and then you can close it down. You shouldn't have to worry about any like sort of height differences with their helmet and stuff like that, because it's all been figured out. They also have this very generic printed cheese slope at the front, which is used in a lot of sets, but at least it's something for kids to play around with. So I folded the wings down just for easier access, but I would like to point out these 2 stickers they have right there. These are really highly detailed, and I really like them. It almost looks like on this one they have like kind of like a first design for almost an accurate clone pilot. And over here it looks like we have some sort of like Venator and Separatist ship. And really quickly, I would like to point out, Lego even went the extra mile to just kind of represent some sort of light going on in here, because other than that, there's no light in here. So there are 2 seats at the back here meant for Wrecker and Echo, I believe, so you can see the minifigure in there just like that. And just before them, they actually have this little compartment that you can pull up just like that, and then flip the whole ship around, because it's actually really hard to access. Now you can actually take a crate out there, so let me get this minifigure out of the way. But you see there's this crate in here which you can take out, and it's just a very simple design, and you can actually store like some weapons and stuff like that in there, just because there's no real storage in there. So you can just take your weapons, put them right in there, full fit. It's a bit of a tight squeeze, and then close that down. This is really great for kids if they don't want to lose all their weapons and stuff like that, because if you just threw it in there, who knows where any of that stuff is going. So I think this works out really well. And it's a great use of space that otherwise probably would have gone to waste. So the last thing I would like to mention about this set is Lego's choice of using the sand blue color. Now, it might be controversial and sort of like a tough subject for somebody. I think it actually works out pretty well for the set. Since the ship is seen a lot on Camino and other like blue planets, I think Lego could have seen that it was slightly blue, but you know, it could go either way. It could have been the gray or it could have been the blue, but either way, I think it looks fantastic. If you are still here watching this video, thank you very, very much, because this video was really hard to film, and I can only imagine it's going to be really hard to edit too. So if you are still here, leave a comment and say Havoc in all caps. Actually, no, say Havoc Marauder in all caps, and I will pin it and heart it and like it and leave a reply. And yeah, if you do that, that would just be incredible. So yeah, if you got any value out of this video, be sure to give me a like and subscribe to my channel down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.